Hello you lovely people, welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. My name's Kirsten, this is where I art and craft, and this is where things are still kind of a bit manic, but nevertheless I'm grabbing some time to do ABC JLC because it's back again this year. The hashtag has 2026 added on the back of it. So if you're joining in, please put that hashtag in so that Jodi can find you and see what you're doing. You can also join Jodi's channel. Remember to answer the questions, because if you don't answer the questions, you don't get in. And there in the channel, there is a album where you can post. You can post on the main feed as well, but you can post your challenge cards in there so that they're all together and you can see what everybody's created. Later on this week, it's Thursday this week, not Wednesdays. Later on this week, Jodi will be pulling and doing B. So I thought I really need to get on and do A. And the prompts have been tormenting me. The prompts are apron, arms, aeroplane, and the bonus one is apricot. Now, apricot was the one I thought was going to be hard. And actually apricot's pretty straightforward because it's a colour. Any of these things that say cut a colour to you, then just use the colour, and that prompt's dealt with. I had dug out an apricot. This is when I don't have time, one of the things I grabbed for breakfast, and it's apricots, and there's a bit of an apricot there. There's a better bit over on here and there's one there, so I might still use that because of what I'm going to do. But I've also discovered I've actually got some paint here that's called, yes it is, apricot. This is a Pebble acrylic. I've used it before. Oh, there's only about half, despite how full it looks, there's only about half of it left. I use it in my gel plate, that's why I tend to use it. So I've got that. I picked out this mask. It's a mask because the pattern is what is you can touch. A stencil is the pattern is the gaps, you can't touch it. A mask is a pattern, and I thought I might, because that's got that big A there, I might, for the background, use the paint on this mask. I know this isn't actually one of the prompts, but I just like the fact it's got the A there and it just gets me a start. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. I also got these. Now this is the Modern Cyclopedia 8 Blah, and it is dated MCMX1, so that's 1911, which means it's well past its date, but it's got some wonderful images on, and I managed to pick these up. There's 8 of them. Was it 10 of them? 10 of them, I think. And they worked out less than £1 each, and I just thought, right, I'm taking them. I'm going to use them for ABC. I'm going to look up all the words, even when I know what the things are. I'm going to look up all the words to see if I've got any images or anything I want to use from here. And it's only after I finish with one of the books that then I'm allowing myself to use it for other things. It'll probably take me a long time to get all the way through the books. I love the cover, so I might end up sacrificing one of them just to use the cover. Love this spine, love this front piece. And it's got, just look at that page. I mean, I know but it's the agedness of it I love. And see, I just kind of like that as well. So, and I might, because this is well out of copyright now, what I might do is I might scan the images of the words and make them available in the Facebook group. So for example, this week one of the prompts is aeroplane, and I would scan that and make that available. It's too late really to do it now, but I'd scan that and make it available. But from next week I will do that. So that's that. And then there's also it's actually quite interesting because this comes under aeronautics rather than aeroplane, because of course at this point there wasn't aeroplanes as we know them. I mean, they had these flying machines rather than full-blown airplanes. So actually it's aeronautics, the art of sailing in or navigating the air, the first form in which the idea of aerial locomotion naturally suggested itself was that of providing men with wings by which they would be enabled to fly. There you go. It is now, however, generally admitted that it is impossible for man by his muscular strength alone to give motion to wings of sufficient extent to keep him suspended in the air. Hence the modern attempts at aerial navigation structures of a different kind. So things like balloons, of course, are there. Lots of stuff about it, and then it just moves straight onto its acrostic press. So, but I quite like the fact we've got the idea of airplanes, and I've got a notion as to what I might do with this. So I'm going to take this out, and you know what? I think I might scan it for you anyway, just in case somebody still wants it. And I've got something, a notion I want to do with that, but I'm going to scan that first anyway. Then the next one here I've marked is apricot. So this tells us about the fruit. It doesn't mention the colour, so I reckon the colour just came from somebody saying, oh, that's the colour of apricot, so that's why it's now called this particular. Somebody else might call it something else, but people are calling that apricot. But I will scan that one as well. Well, I won't scan that one. I don't think I'm going to use that. Then the next one I've got, oh, before I get to this one, but this next one, apron isn't even in this. Now, they had aprons in 1911, but they obviously weren't considered sufficiently important enough to be put in an encyclopedia. So apron's not in this. And then arms, and here we go. This is what they've got for arms. Arms and armoury. It comes under arms, coat of armorial bearing. And a coat of armorial bearing is this coat of armour, but it's also a coat of arms is something that was then developed from that. So I had a thought. Apron was the thing that was causing me the most difficulty. And apron is a piece of clothing, could be said in its widest sense. A coat is a piece of clothing. So if you can have a coat of arms, why can't we have a coat of apron? No, a coat of arms, why can't we have an apron of arms? Get it right, Kirsten. Why can't we have an apron of arms? And so I think what I'm going to do is I've got this bit of material that kind of reminds me a bit of an apron, an old-fashioned apron. And I'm going to cut an apron shape out of it like a dolly type of apron rather than a full one. And on this apron, we are going to do an apron of arms for JLC, ABC JLC. So a coat of arms has items on it that tell the story of the family. In Scotland, we have clan arms, which is slightly different from coats of arms. This, I was born a McFarlane, so this is my McFarlane one, which has the motto around it, this I'll defend. That's defending the shores of Loch Lomond from those Campbells that used to come and raid our sheep. And this is called the Demi-Savage because the McFarlanes were pretty good at killing people. Not something to be proud of, I suppose, but they were one of the fierce clans, a small clan but fierce. And so that's a kind of similar idea. So what I want to do is I want to do an apron that tells the story of ABC JLC, in particular letter A today, and the other items on it. So we're going for a coat of arms, but I also want this for something else. So I'm going to take this image out of the book, and I'm going to scan that. But the first thing I think I want to do is, what's the first thing I want to do? Oh, the first thing I want to do is I want to go and scan these. And once I've scanned these, I'll be back, because then I can use them. So I've scanned these. I have a plan for that one. This one, the bottom half of it is really the arm part of it. So I'm going to use this top half, which is the arms. And we've got kind of axes and spears and arrows and things. And I'm going to put that, stick that on there as the background. So we've got the crossbow there. I think we can kind of put it on that bit. We've got most of it. We've got a sling as well. I love the fact there's a sling on there. So let's glue this, and who knows if battering ram comes under B. I've still got my picture of my battering ram. If it isn't under B in the, just cut this in here. Off here. I do have natural sponges for when I'm doing actual sponge painting, but when I'm just doing something like this, this is a sponge that you wet it and it just starts growing. Let's get this mask out. And I want to make sure the A is on it. There's the A. I'm hoping it will be a bit more obvious once it starts drying. I might have to run something around it. It's not coming off that it's already dried on there. Right, I'm going to clean this up and I'll be back. While that's drying, let's get on with this other bit. And I might actually use it back to front just so it's slightly lighter. Let's get, this is a fabric pen. The colour will disappear off it. So let's just kind of make that the bottom of the apron, curling up a bit like that. Something like that. That's not very even, is it? Something like that. Then, and the ties tend to come the whole way across. So let's just do the ties the whole way across. Oh well, you're not going to see this, so it doesn't matter. It will eventually just, this is just to give me a rough idea so that I end up at least cutting out the right thing and don't have to then go looking for another bit of fabric. Of course, the sensible thing to do would be to fold this in half, and then it would be even, wouldn't it? Do we fancy trying the sensible thing, Kirsten? Oh dear, that's not worked at all, has it? I'd let go of the bottom half. So, that's okay. That's okay. Let's just cut that along like that. Cut that there. There's the apron. There's the apron. And we'll do a separate bit after. So this will go on here as my apron of arms. Now, a coat of arms normally has the things that represent, and then when there's a marriage they split it in half and they have the things in one half that represent one of the family things and the other half that represent the other family. So what I'm thinking is if we split this in half and I put ABCJLC on this side, and then on this side I'll do this week's prompts, which are apricot. So we'll take this little apricot out of here, I think. Little wedge of apricot. apron is here, arms is here, because that's what we're doing. I need to sew up a line at the centre. I need to have ABC, JLC in here, which I think we'll do with my thing. I don't have a hashtag, but that's okay. So let's do see, I'll put them on top of each other like so. So that'll go in there, and I'll draw in the hashtag above there. Okay, this is the closest I've got, which is a bit orangey. Could do with a wee bit of blue in it, but and it's also a bit thin to be sewing on. I could stick it on. Yeah, we'll use that. Once that's done, we'll stick that on. Right, so let's do this. No, let's sew up the centre of this first to split it into the two halves. I got this lovely wee needle holder, and now I don't have thread already on my needles. I used to always have thread already on my needles, but the wee needle holder is fabulous to have, so I'd rather just thread my needles when I need them. Right, let's just find out where the centre of that is and try and do it. That's not ended up in the centre very well, has it? Despite me doing that. Oh well, never mind. It doesn't need to be perfect, which is just as well, because it really is. In fact, is it ever perfect? It's never perfect. What do you mean it really is? Right, okay. So there we've got our centre line down there. We need the apricot on. Let's stamp this first. Let's put this bit of sponge underneath here just to give it a bit of purchase power. And get some black archival. There we go. Oh, I could maybe do the use. There's a thought. I wonder, I could maybe write the year. I wonder if the year will write on here. Let me see. I need to cut this and iron it. Hold on. Well, it'd be easier to iron it before cutting it. Let's just. This is travel hair straighteners, which I have for easy quick ironing at my desk. I was given these jelly pens for Christmas, and these are fabulous because they're so fine, but they're jelly pens, so they're not like some of the other ones. They don't tend, so far, they've not done that bleedy thing that pens tend to do on fabric. 20, oh, it is doing it a wee bit. Six and 6 is a bit squiffy, but never mind. That's alright. It is bleeding a little bit. We will see how much it bleeds as I continue to do this, and if the bleeding's too much, then we'll do something different. So we want the apricot on here, on the apron. Let's put this away before it. Oh no. Let's see if we could use that. No. I'm just thinking it's easy enough to sew a hashtag, isn't it? Should we just sew the hashtag in? Sorry, I did that off camera. I'll edit that bit out. Hashtag ABCJLC. So, we've got our apricot. We've got our apron. And we're making this arm. So we've also got our arms in the background there. Different kind of arms from what everybody else is doing. The thing we don't have is aeroplane. And the thing we don't actually have... Oh, let's clean this. Okay, put that all away. Right. Oh, this is smudging quite a bit, isn't it? What do we think? No, it's getting even worse, I think. I think we'll have to put a wee bit over the top of it. I think I know what I want to do. We have apron. We have arms. This dry now. This is dry. Let's go back to this for a minute. Because what I want to do is trying to decide what colour to do it in. Do I do it in apricot? In other words, orange, or do I do it in a different? Let's do it in this browny colour. Oh, I think I forgot to say that this mask is from Indigo Blue, and it's called Letters. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to... I think we'll leave the rest of them and just do those ones. And so this will go on here like this, because we don't want it in that divot, do we? Maybe we'll put the date down here somewhere. Right, I'm thinking I might stick this down just now. We have our apron. We have lots of apricot, don't we? And this is our arms. So they've got the arms in the back. We've got this is the apron of arms. So the last thing we need to do is we need to do a plain. And what I'm going to do for that is, those of you who know me might guess this. I'm just trying to decide where to go, because I really want to try and keep that balloon, don't I? In case balloon comes up, and keep that. So can I get that plain and still keep that balloon? Can't really. I think I'm going to keep those and use, let's take off the outside edge, and we want, let's say 2.5 squared. Let's take 2.5 squared, and hopefully that's going to be small enough. It's not going to be small enough by a long chalk, so let's make it, well, that would be 1.25, wouldn't it? Would have done that now, and do it 1.25, didn't I? Yeah. 1 1/4. That's probably about the size I want actually. So let's just make an aeroplane. Very simple airplane made out of a plane, and this will go on a apron as well. Like so. I'm going to leave this one so it can come up if it wants to come up, and hopefully it won't catch on anything. If it catches on things, then I'll have to stick it down as well. We haven't put 2026 on. That was the one thing I was still going to do, wasn't it? So I've got enough room to put it down here, so I think I'm going to put it down here. I'll have a wee label somewhere. There's a wee plain label. That I think has come from the exhibition, the exhibit kit of Tracy Fox Love Junk Journals on Etsy. But you can get a label from anywhere. You don't need to go and buy a whole kit, and that kit is massive. There's thousands of pieces in it. Should have started that in the middle. Let's put a wee I'll just give it a little bit of glitter, and I very rarely use them because I forget about them a lot. We're not doing full deck challenge again this year, but we are doing A, B, C, J, L, C. So that was A last year. Oh, haven't written on the back. I'm going to be more diligent with my writing on the back. So this is hashtag A, B, C, J, L, C 2026 arms. Aeroplane, airplane, what else? Arms, airplane, apron. And bonus, apricot. Today is the 12th, I believe. So it's 26. It's January. And it's the 12th. I believe it's the 12th. That's the date it is. Shall we see if I can manage not to print it, stamp the first one upside down? There we go. And let's put that in. First one done. All the details of the challenge are down below. You can go and see Jodi's wee short that she put for explaining it. I'll link the channel down below as well. You can, if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, then join her Facebook group and you will see what everybody else has been doing as well. You've got to answer the questions, otherwise you won't get in. I think that's it. I'm so glad Jodi's done this again. I'm glad I finally got my first one done. B should be coming out on Thursday this week. So I hope you're going to maybe join in as well. Thank you so much for watching. You take care. Bye for now. Keep crafting.